It's time to take a ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive with our co-hosts, Alan Saunders and Zachary Smith.
Welcome into another episode of Steelers Afternoon Drive. I'm Zachary Smith. That is Alan Saunders, and there's a third person on today's show, and maybe we will discuss exactly why that is, other than we just love talking ball with him on here as well. But maybe there's a bigger reason for Jobe Morrison to be joining the channel with us today. Jobe, how we doing?
Doing well. I still feel like it's Monday, even though, I had the holiday yesterday, but every day is Steelers Day, so there's no day off from that.
It's Mon's Day, basically. First day back from a holiday. I certainly felt that at work today, but that's neither here nor there. I'm here now. Alan, how we doing?
What's a holiday?
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with that.
You said you enjoyed it. You said you enjoyed it yesterday.
Yeah, it was great. A holiday is, to me, the day that I work where there's no traffic. That is the only definition of a holiday that I'm aware of. Yeah, had a good day today. Went to Clairton Elementary School with Pat Fryermuth, giving out some bags of school supplies to kids. It was fun watching him interact with them interact with him. It's kind of cool. Got to talk to Pat for a little bit. I'm going to write a story about that probably tomorrow morning, just on his leadership. I know Smitty and I talked a lot about it yesterday, about how it felt like he was kind of deserving of being a captain and why maybe that like C doesn't necessarily matter, and just the idea that there are layers of leadership on this team is something that is probably a good sign. And then I went over to the South Side. Good old Mike Tomlin press conference, the first good afternoon of the 2025 regular season. And soon we're going to talk a lot about that.
It is a beautiful thing. Actually, first things first, I don't want to continue to harp on the Pat thing. He FaceTimed me earlier today, and the only thing that I'll say about any of this that you just brought up, dude needs a haircut. Mention it to him. Don't know if he's got plans to get it cut before the opener.
Same, Pat, same. It's
maybe go together and get it done before you head to East Rutherford. That's all I'll say. The other thing that you mentioned there with it being a Tomlin Tuesday, man, does it just hit different? It felt like I just got like smacked in the face in a good way when I saw all the good afternoons start rolling in from all the people on the beat, Alan. But we want to dive into that. Obviously, I don't even know. I'll let you decide where you want to start in terms of the direction that Mike Tomlin took this first Tomlin Tuesday as we prepare for the New York Jets.
Let's start with Cam Hayward, because I feel like that's like a thing that the fan base is talking about a lot, and I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Cam Hayward's going to play in this game. I know what he said on his podcast, but like Mike Tomlin said what he said the way he said it, which was definitively stating that Cam Hayward is going to play, because I think everybody that knows Cam Hayward knows Cam Hayward's going to play. I mean, like he's been practicing for weeks. Like there's no, I would be astonished if Cam Hayward doesn't play. Like I can't imagine that happening, regardless of whether there's any resolution to his contract issue or not.
And while I'm in full agreement, and we'll get Jobe's thoughts here in a second, I think what you said in terms of Cam, like saying what he did on the podcast, like we'll see, just leaving it like open-ended like that. It's just, again, going back to the comments that he made originally in terms of like, we'll have to see when the time comes if he'll be on the field for week one. Like he knows the spot that he's in terms of trying to get more money this year. And there's been no progress in terms of that, at least from the outside looking in. So I think it's just, using what he can, the avenues that he can, the platform that he has to maybe try to put some pressure, but like it's not going to change his availability for Sunday. But Jobe, what's your thoughts here?
I mean, the we'll see comment. I think it's just a matter of two sides staring each other down, seeing who blinks first. And I think the press conference kind of right. I think
we'll get into a staring contest with Omar Khan. You're not going to win. And the man has never blinked. And Mike Tomlin cut his eyelids off.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Cam.
For sure. And I think Tomlin's comments today kind of solidified that. And if nothing gets done before Saturday night, I don't think anything's going to get done at all because they don't negotiate contracts in season at all whatsoever. And if Mike Tomlin says he's going to play, I don't have reason to believe that he's not going to play. It's not like a teammate said I expect him to, and then we have a Le'Veon Bell situation where he ends up not. Two totally different situations, all in all. But if head coach says he's going to play, yeah, I think that staring contest.
I said the Tomlin Tuesday hit me in the face in a good way. You just slapped me in the face disrespectfully, bringing the Le'Veon Bell thing back onto the plate. But all right, Cam Hayward gonna be in the fold. Someone that won't be Derrick Harmon. We knew he's gonna miss some time. The only player rolled out for this week, Alan, Nick Herbig with a questionable tag. We can discuss that too, because I mean, we know how important he is, but I think when you look at the edge depth that they have there as well, I mean, behind the starters, you got a 4th-round rookie in Jack Sawyer that I would say didn't really do anything necessarily to light it up this preseason and say, yeah, that guy's ready-made to go and be the number 3 edge rusher.
Yeah, I think it's a situation where there's not really a ton of depth there without Nick Herbig involved. I mean, DeMarvin Leal is on the practice squad. If Herbig doesn't play, I would assume that he'll come up, and those will be the 4 edge rushers. DeMarvin Leal's played a bunch of games. It's not like you're afraid to throw him out there, but he hasn't been an impact player in those games that he's played in. So, yeah, I mean, especially with Highsmith coming back from a hamstring injury, and this will be, he's practiced, but he hasn't played in the game. And hamstrings, right? Like it's a groin injury for Highsmith, right. But any kind of soft tissue injury, they can linger. They're easy to re-aggravate. And so I think there's the reason for some nervousness with the depth at edge right now. And I'm interested to see how that's going to affect the lineup decisions. Like if Leal is one of the guys coming up from the practice squad, you can only have 2. They only have 4 cornerbacks on the roster. I've been kind of assuming that the 5th corner, at least for the first couple of weeks while they're dealing with this Harmon injury and they're carrying 8 defensive linemen, is going to come from the practice squad, but maybe not. Maybe they're just going to play with 4. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah, Joe?
No, I think it's definitely a concern because if there's one thing that you can't have enough of in the NFL is good offensive linemen and good edge rushers. I really didn't like to see a Culiota not be able to find his way back. And then, of course, you don't have Jeremiah Moon as well. So that's your 2 guys outside of Herbig, Watt, and Highsmith that had snaps last year. So continuity could be an issue, but like Alan mentioned, DeMarvin Leal found his way back to the practice squad. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's elevated for the game for sure.
Alan, do you think, just going in terms of like pecking order here, I mean, I know that Sawyer made the roster 53 and Leal did not. Do you think that it would play out that way in terms of who saw action more in this game, though? Or
that's a good question. I don't know. I think my guess is they would try to deploy Sawyer the way they plan to deploy him, which is to be like a rundown guy who can give Watt a break. And try to shoehorn Leal into Herbig's role, which is not a perfect fit, but like you don't feel like you don't want to give a rookie a job you don't think he can handle. It leads to bad things down the road. And so I think there's I think there's a chance they would just roll the ball out there like Sawyer, and maybe Leal. If something were to happen, I think you'd probably see Leal out there starting.
Yeah. Wild to think about, but all right, let's we don't spend too much more time on that because I know that Tomlin touched on several different things here. So beyond that, beyond the injuries, besides Cam Hayward, what else did Mike Tomlin have to say as we prepare for the Jets?
Oh, a whole bunch. I guess we'll start with the defensive line without Harmon. Said it's not going to be one guy; it's going to be a committee approach. I think you can consider the committee to be Isaiah Loudermilk, Daniel Ekawale, and Y.A. Black. Loudermilk is the guy who throughout preseason and training camp, when there was a first team rep available, he was the guy to take it. Ekwale played mostly nose tackle, but that was because he's learning that position. He's never done it before. He certainly can play 3-tech. And then Black has played just 3 and 5. So, I mean, I think and obviously the Steelers are going to play mostly nickel defense this year. The starters are Hayward and Benton, and there's no drama. And I don't know how much the Jets, like, I don't think the Jets are particularly deep in terms of, like, maybe they'll play some 2 back looks with Braylon Allen because they want to get him on the field. But, like, they're already starting a rookie at tight end and Mason Taylor, and Jeremy Ruckert is their backup. Like, I don't see them playing a lot of 2 tight ends. So, like, this strikes me as a game where they do have a fullback on the roster, but, like, this strikes me as a game where it's going to be a lot of 11 personnel. It's going to be a lot of nickel, and it's just going to be mostly Cam Hayward and Keanu Benton. I think the real question will be when you go 2 more, who are the 2 of those 3? And I think it'll probably be Loudermilk and Ekwale, but we'll see. There's definitely room for Y.A. Black in the rotation there. But I think of those 6 players, including Harmon, he's probably been the 6th throughout the process.
And I think, this is really going to highlight how important it is to have a nickel like Jalen Ramsey because of how he can help out in the run game too. Because like you're saying, while they may play a lot of 11 personnel and not see a ton of 12 and 13 and multiple tight ends and stuff like that, just philosophically, the way that I think the Jets are going to want to play and run the football, I think it's going to really highlight how big of an acquisition a guy like Jalen Ramsey was because you still have to stop the run first and foremost against this team. So, Joe, what are your thoughts?
Well, still hate that injury for Harmon to begin with, but you feel really good after watching the way he reacted on the cart. That being said, though, I agree with Alan. Steelers are going to play a lot of sub packages. You're not going to see a ton of a traditional 3-4 set. Plus, the Jets' offensive line usually just doesn't do very well, especially in recent years. So, while, you're down a guy for the Steelers defensive line, the advantage that's the disadvantage for the Jets is who knows if their offensive line's really figured things out. We are talking about a offensive line that 2023 couldn't agree on how they want to block, and that led to current Steelers quarterback getting injured. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, and you also got to factor in, in the passing game, how long is Fields going to hold on to the ball? Are they going to really expose those young guys on the edge to those high-level edge rushers, or are they going to aim to get the ball out quickly? So, I don't know.
That could be a lot of fun, though, if so. I mean, you think about the investments that the Jets have made into their offensive line. I mean, we talked about the Steelers' investments, but Fashanu and Membo, I mean, 2 first-round tackles that they got right there. Elijah Vera Tucker, obviously, Joe Tippmann. Like, there's been John Simpson was a relatively high-paid guard that they had brought in as well in the interior years. So, like, but I want to see those tackles go against those edge rushers. So I'm glad that you put that thought in my mind. That's certainly one to circle. But Alan, just continuing along with stuff from Mike Tomlin there.
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit about the challenge of playing a team with a new head coach in week 1. They did it last year. They did it 2020 in this building, actually. They had a new Giant staff. And Mike Tomlin's been pretty good in those situations. I wanted to get him to kind of explain the process a little bit. He sort of downplayed it and said he didn't think it's that big of a deal. I'm glad he doesn't think it's that big of a deal. I just want to know why he happens to be good at it. It's been strange. Like, I don't know what your guys' reaction to this. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, especially, saying things like the Steelers aren't typically prepared for the start of the season, or are bad at the start of the season, or are like giving that kind of opinion. And like, Steelers have won 4 of 5 openers. All 4 of those were on the road, and they were big underdogs in 2 of them. I'm just confused. Like that. I don't know where that comes from. I think they've had 9 of their last 10 openers on the road. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10 openers. I don't know. Like, I'm not quite sure where that like particular narrative came from.
Yeah, I mean, especially like, recent history, it's been more about the finishes that they've had than it has to the start of the year. I think that people may be forming an opinion based off the offense and saying that they get out the slow starts, but then it's like, can you really call it a slow start if that's just what they show that they end up being by the end of the year? Like, that's just who they are. So yeah, I certainly don't share that opinion. Thank goodness they got out to the start that they did last year. With the way that they folded at the end of the year, they wouldn't have made the playoffs if they didn't start out the way that they did.
Yeah, and I think the end of season stuff is. I mean, I understand.
23 they had to. Yeah, 23 they had to play really well at the end of the year to.
And 22 they won 5 of their last 6.
Yeah, they were 2-6.
Of their last 7 made this like crazy run. To come back. 2021. I don't think there was a. They just wasn't a very good team, but like
2021 was just throughout.
Yeah, but like, and now 2020 they didn't end the season. Well, they started 11-0. Like, I mean, yeah. So like, I don't know. I feel like there are these narratives out there that I don't understand where they come from. I kind of understand where that one. People talking about last year, certainly. One of Tomlin's sort of one-liners today was, "I don't tote last year's baggage." I'm sorry, but you do, Mike. You may not in your head, but you do in the eyes and minds of the fan base, certainly. So, I mean, I guess I'm interested to see what happens here, but just because I don't have any idea what these Jets are going to be this year, and I don't think they're going to be very good. I think that's a good prior just because they're the Jets, and they haven't been very good for pretty much all of my lifetime. But also, like, I mean, I'm not a big believer in what Justin Fields brings to the table. I don't think there's a lot of talent on this team overall, but you do have this sort of unknown schematically of like, what are they going to do and how fast can you come up with an answer to it in game that I think makes for the toughest part of this game from a Steelers perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, your thoughts on, well, I can't guess all that we've talked about there in terms of Steelers getting out to fast starts, or what your thought is there if they have not gotten out the fast starts, and also obviously the point that Alan just mentioned there in terms of a lack of familiarity in the role that could play.
No, for sure. So I think the slow start aspect definitely kind of plays into, 6 field goals in Atlanta last year and then coming out and just putting up an absolute dud against the 49ers in 2023. That said, though, the defense was well prepared to handle Atlanta last year. I mean, I think Atlanta didn't cross the 50-yard line till almost halftime when they had their final scoring drive. And a
Broncos team in week 2 that ended up being pretty good.
Right. So
just give up 2 touchdowns in their first 3 games last year.
Right. So I can understand the offense for sure. I mean, the offense is what it is, but defense, I always feel like they're prepared. I think the offense in 2023 did them no favors with multiple 3-and-outs, multiple turnovers. And as far as, what to expect, Aaron Glenn's, I see a lot of similar mindset to Mike Tomlin. He's going to want to run the ball very well, and he's going to want to be very aggressive on defense. I think Detroit ran the highest amount of man coverage, especially in press cover 1 defense. So I'm going to expect a lot of man coverage, aggressiveness there, and then they're going to want to run the ball to control the game, just like Pittsburgh is going to want to do the same. So that said, if I had to bet my rent payments on which one's going to be prepared the most, I'm going to say Pittsburgh's defense. Because
also, today was the day that I found out that Steve Wilks was the defensive coordinator for the Jets, and I'm curious to see how that goes. But in terms of Tanner Engstrand, I think it's very interesting. Obviously, Ben Johnson, he was working with there in Detroit under him, and obviously, good offensive coordinator caters things to the personnel that he has. But I just think about, like, in an ideal situation, the type of personnel that he would have. and you think about what Ben Johnson's offense brings to the table and what they asked of the quarterback position, it's why the Fields thing to me was kind of interesting from the team perspective. Like, wasn't surprised that he was interested in them, but a little surprised that they were interested in him. Just because to me, like everything that I think about when I think about Ben Johnson in terms of what they asked the quarterback to do pre-snap, get into those reads, throwing with anticipation, just doesn't like square peg round hole to me when it comes to what Justin Fields brings to the table. So I have a lot of questions about what this marriage is going to look like there, much like I think Alan was kind of saying at the beginning there. So I don't know. There is a lot of unknown, and that's why I can't wait until we actually get to kick off. Anything else that we didn't cover yet from Tomlin, Alan, that you feel like is pertinent?
I think we got most of the highlights. I think there was something that I brushed past there that I wanted to come back to, but I can't remember what it was.
That happens sometimes when you give Jobe and I the floor for a few minutes and try to come back to you. But
Fields in general.
Yeah.
He was saying he expects him to use him as a running threat. I mean, you can kind of read between the lines that like Mike Tomlin's not afraid of facing Justin Fields at all. Like, I mean, he didn't say that obviously, but like when the coach is up there talking up the opposing team and all he can come up with is, well, he's going to be a really dangerous running threat. I mean, what that means is like, please throw it 40 times. We would love that. Like, I mean, that's, I don't, and obviously Garrett Wilson's a talented player, but the rest of this Jets receiving core is frankly not. And I don't sense a lot of fear when it comes to what Justin Fields might do to the Steelers. I get it from the fan base. I feel like there's a lot of the fan base that seems to be very nervous that like Justin Fields is going to go off, and he'll probably make some plays with his legs. But I think the Steelers are expecting to kind of have their way with him.
Piece of business here with Robert Woods being released from the practice squad. Requested his release, said he really only wants to continue doing this football thing if he's going to be on a 53-man roster and playing. So with that being said, Robert, I would like to wish you the best on your great career in the NFL, and best of luck in your future endeavors. Listen, I just, if you can't crack the Steelers 53 as a receiver, which 53 are you cracking as a receiver? I mean, you just mentioned the Jets.
I guess like the Steelers could get somebody hurt, and then but like he can just as easily fill that. Like he doesn't need to show anything on the practice squad for the Steelers to call him if somebody gets hurt in week 1 and they need a replacement. Like I think that's sort of the realization that he came to, is that he was just what kind of wasting his time on the practice squad. The Steelers would have called him from home anyway if they did have a need.
So you're saying this wasn't just because the wording was kind of interesting to me. I took it as, okay, he's going to see if he can sign with the 53 and then like retire if that doesn't happen. So you're saying that's not the case. He'll just wait around and see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I expect. He still wants to play from everything I've been told. I think this is just both the team and him being like, what are you doing here? Like we don't need you to prove your value as our 6th best wide receiver that we had in camp by continuing to stay on the practice squad. And the other part of that is too, there are restrictions about signing a player from a practice squad. So like if let's say the 49ers wanted to sign him, since they don't have any wide receivers either, they would then have to guarantee his salary for 3 weeks if they signed him off the Steelers practice squad, and they have to keep him on their roster for 3 weeks. But if he's just at home, they can sign him and then cut him. And so it does give him a little bit more of an opportunity to sign with another team, just being at home instead of being on the Steelers practice squad.
Gotcha. Yeah, tough watch. I think Bobby Tree's at his best, one of my favorite players to watch, but he's got about as much juice left as one of Jobe's kids' empty Capri Suns. So I don't think that there's much left in the tank there. So I don't know. Joe, do you have any thoughts on Robert Woods?
Well, as far as what's in the tank left, usually I get a little cup and it's like asking for more. I'm like, I just filled this up, and I listen. I'm like, oh, there's not really much in there, so you must have drank it all. Honestly, when he got released, my thought process was his agent was like, hey, there's a team that might be interested. in having you for a couple of weeks. I was thinking something like Minnesota because Jordan Addison's about to be suspended soon, or like you said, the 49ers. That was my thought at first, but I mean, if he's not signed by like tomorrow, I mean, that could just be it. He's just gonna hang out till someone needs him. But I mean,
sounds pretty sweet. Just chilling at home, like, hey, my phone's next to me. Somebody wants me.
right?
They got my number.
So
Not a bad.
I don't know. Well, once he was playing deep into the fourth quarter of the Panthers game, I mean, it kind of showed where he's at on the technical.
Which is why it was so interesting. Like, people were still putting him on 53-man roster projections, and I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? All right, well, good stuff there. There's a couple things that we got to get to real quick before we mention one of the new ventures that we got going on in Alan T's last week on the YouTube channel, because we had two different donations today, Alan, come in, and one, we'll get to this one first, actually, from Pika, sent us $10. Just a quick thank you to the both of you for providing awesome content all off season. Any off season that includes a Pickens trade, Rodgers signing, Robert Woods' entire Steelers career all in one should be celebrated. So thanks for all the work that you gentlemen do. I like how, yes, right now Robert Woods' entire Steelers tenure took place just in 3 months? I think he was signed in May. So gone but never forgotten, Robert Woods' time with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The other one, Alan, was a $50 super chat here from Joseph Glotfelty.
And let me tell you what, I really appreciate the $50 super chat. Like,
yeah,
I absolutely do. The email that we got that accompanied it, I appreciate that a whole heck of a lot more.
Yeah, it's funny because the YouTube just says thanks. So, like, if that would have been it, that would have been kind of funny. But he sent a super long email to Alan that I'm going to try to summarize some of this, but I'll definitely read entire portions of this here, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6 paragraphs long from Joseph here. So, dear Steelers Now, thank you so much for all the outstanding reporting and fantastic analysis. Discovered Steelers Now last winter, joined and subscribed to SN Plus in February. Since then, I have been reading all of your articles and, of course, watching the excellent Morning Rush and Afternoon Drive videos posted on the internet site. Also, internet site is kind of funny. Yeah, YouTube. In addition to the membership dues I paid in February, and as a token of my appreciation, I would like to send a monetary donation to you guys. Can you please tell me how to do this? You obviously figure out how through the YouTube super chat there. Lifelong diehard Steelers fan, recent retiree who grew up in Clarksburg, West Virginia, able to watch on TV, listen to the radio to all the great Steelers 70s teams, including the 4 Super Bowl wins. Your site is the best Steelers-focused site, and your reporting is light years better than the national news media, which only seems to be focused on quarterback, wide receiver, splash plays, and what team won the previous week. Through you guys, I've learned a lot more about 3-tech, compensatory draft picks, dead cap space, waiver wire transaction procedures, and stuff like this, and been able to expand my vocabulary and knowledge base. Your explanation of these terms has allowed me to attain a much richer understanding and appreciation of the game that I've always loved, but maybe didn't understand the nuances of. Also, he threw in here about having to visit Blackwater Falls State Park. It's a real gem, especially in the winter where there is a lot of snow, and is an absolute winter wonderland. Also, don't know if you've ever heard of Muriel's Restaurant in Fairmont, but you have to take a stop there if you ever passing through Fairmont, exit on Route 250 along the Tigard River. Thanks again for all that you do. I'm really looking forward to another great season, as well as the excellent reporting and analysis that goes with it. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Sincerely, Joe Glotfelty. Now in Fairfax, Virginia, but he's moving to Sauk City, Wisconsin. I don't know if that's how that's pronounced, but man, Joe, great stuff. Appreciate the email. That was to Alan, though. Alan, maybe you could speak better to some of the stuff that was in there, but you get my thanks as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just really appreciate the feedback. I think the one thing that I really try to do on my coverage at SteelersNow.com and the shows that we do here on YouTube is I want to teach people more about the game. I want to entertain people, but I hope they learn something in the process. It's got to be entertaining or nobody shows up, right? So that's kind of first and foremost. And then I hope that we can teach people something too. And when I hear stuff like, I've been a football fan my whole life, but your show has, created a deeper understanding for me, really like hits home for me, because that's what we're trying to do. Trying to help people be smarter football fans, help people understand parts of the game they don't understand, not afraid to answer questions. And I love that about what we have going on here. So that to me was just awesome to hear, and really, really thankful for you to be a member of our audience, and everybody out there, because you guys, as Smitty and I say all the time, you guys make the show is what it is. And that just made my whole day, that email.
I think it's also why, not to say that doesn't happen on here, but I think a lot of what he is referring to is, what makes Morning Rush the show that it is for you over there. You get into a lot more of that nuanced stuff over there because you have to. I mean, obviously, we have a great appreciation for the audience here and take a lot of what they say and bring it on to here. But that show's entirely like topics that the audience wants, and just you kind of describing whatever their questions are. Like you and I could do a podcast, I guess, without the participation. We wouldn't want to, but we could do it. That show without the participation of an audience.
There's too much going on.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't imagine Morning Rush, though, without the participation
it doesn't
of
work
the audience.
Without people. It doesn't work without people.
So we appreciate that, Joe. Thank you so much.
And how about that for a segue now, talking about why our specific shows work and how some of them are reliant on the participation of the audience. Smitty, did you do that on purpose? Are you that good at this?
This is Alan. Listen, I always tell people the craziest thing. We just hit 8 years of Around the 412 last week, and the thought in my mind is always, I started podcasting before TJ Watt took a snap for the Steelers. That's how long I've been doing this. So yeah, your boy kind of knows what he's doing. Jobe Morrison is on the channel today, always because we love talking football with him, but also Alan mentioned last week that we got some new content coming to the YouTube channel, or the internet site, as Joe would like to say. So Jobe, what do we got going on, pal? What can the fans look forward to? And are we excited about this? How excited are we about this?
Very excited, man. I've been able to watch Mr. Smitty here grow, and it motivated me to definitely try to work my way towards this opportunity. And I want to thank Alan for it. We're going to be doing the Steelers night shift on Wednesday nights at 8:00. And the best thing about it is we're going to get our folks involved, so you don't have to listen to someone like me blabber. But if you like hearing me blabber a little bit, I am flattered. So, but we're going to definitely get our audience involved, kind of similar to what we did to our subscribers only stream. That was a lot of fun. It was really cool to see folks react in real time. And so we're going to do some more of that on Wednesday nights. Going to preview a little bit. We're going to see how folks are feeling next Wednesday about whether the Steelers perform well or not on Sunday. Want to hear everyone's opinions, want to hear everyone's questions, and going to have some great folks joining me as well week to week. So very excited and thankful.
I'm excited too. The one thing I want to say before Alan chimes in here and gives his thoughts about this and the YouTube expansion here is, I don't know if there's going to be intro music that accompanies this, but when I hear Steelers night shift and my mind starts going, I'm just saying there's a pretty high bar in my mind, not only because of the music that we have, but also the title of the show. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to is seeing if there's going to be something accompanying. No pressure, Alan, but I'm just saying
things may not be ready for the first week, but we're getting there eventually. I think I'm always looking to try new stuff and to try to find a way to bring different content. And Jobe was really proactive this offseason. He sent me like a 5-page email in May. Joe, if you guys don't know, Jobe has been writing for Steelers Now for a while now. Jobe, when did you start? Maybe before the last season?
It's our week 2 last year.
Week 2 last year. Okay, yeah. So he's been writing for Steelers Now for a while now, and he had expressed interest in getting into more of the audiovisual part of what we do. I really kind of thought a lot about what we have, what we don't have. One of the suggestions, he made was some kind of live thing on a more regular basis. Obviously, we have our subscribers only thing, but that's once a month, and that's sort of a special thing where we get everybody together. We wanted something a little bit more casual, a little bit more of the audience participating. So we're going to do this on Wednesday nights. I'm going to join Jobe tomorrow, and then we'll kind of rotate through, maybe a little Smitty, maybe a little DB, maybe a little Brendan Howe, keep it fresh and interesting, and make a show on this channel where the audience participation is kind of first and foremost, and it's just something we weren't really doing. Of course, we do our post games live, but I think this adds another thing to that, and I kind of I feel like we have like a morning show and we have an afternoon show in the evenings, were an opportunity for us to do something different. And I think live also is something that I really like the way like our workflow, me and Smitty with our two shows works right now. We have occasionally done them live, but I really like the way they work this way. But I know some people, especially on YouTube, do like the live content and they like being able to interact in real time. And so I want to provide a little bit of something for everyone. That's the idea. And we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited about it.
From a fan perspective, like if I was taking a step back outside looking in and you asked me, what's this channel missing right now? I would say a regular live show. I think that it's necessary to have those real-time thoughts to be shared times from the fan base, because if there's something going on, they want to talk about it right then and there. And we see it even with our comments. Like we'll go back and people be posting comments just because they want to get that thought out. That's not at all related to what we were talking about. So we see the feedback, we hear you. Now we got this show coming to the platform to take care of that piece of business and make sure that you guys are being heard in real time. So I'm looking forward to it as well and playing a small part in it.
I think we started to do this too with our post games where you were streaming them on Twitter as well. So I think we're going to do that same thing with this, put it on Twitter, put it on YouTube. One of the reasons that we don't do a lot of live, peeling the curtain back here, is that this process is a lot easier for monetization purposes. Just is a lot smoother process. And so like, I think this gives us the best of both worlds, where like our sort of flagship programming, gosh, Smitty, can we call this show that? Is still in the normal way you've consumed it, but we're also going to provide something a little bit different as well.
This is Monday Night Raw. Then you got SmackDown and NXT and the other shows, but this is still Monday Night Raw for the time being, Alan.
There you go.
This is the flagship.
I was more of a Nitro guy growing up personally. But,
There we go. Well, hey, you know what? If they were still around, I mean, you got AEW as the top competition now, but we don't have to get into the wrestling conversation. Anyways, Jobe, other than on this new show that the people can look forward to, tell the people they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Jobe Football, Jobey football. And you can find me on SteelersNow.com.
There we go. Alan?
Saunders _PGH on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. PGH Steelers Now site's account. Go to SteelersNow.com, sign up for SN Plus, like our guy Joe did, which was like a gateway drug for Joe apparently to the whole world of Steelers Now content. It's $4.49 a month, or even cheaper if you get it annually. And you get all the best stuff from me, DB, the rest of the Steelers Now team. Also, I probably don't pimp this as much as I should. Also, all the best content from John Parado and our boy Dan Kingerski over at Pittsburgh Hockey Now. It all carries over. And then, of course, ad-free reading, which is, to me, the best benefit. And not to undersell my undying love and appreciation, which does come included. We got some names that have been up here on the list for a little while here on the shout out board that scrolls down in the ticker.
Get them out of here.
Get them out of here. We need some new ones. So need you guys to find a way to kick them out of here, and we'll get going with some new names. And anyone can like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube channel. That's free, and it really helps us grow this podcast to a bigger and bigger audience. That is one of the things that I think this live stream can really help accomplish. Is really add those subscribers. So hopefully we've seen incredible growth over the last month or so. Hopefully we continue to see. We have 16,600 in. Man, I feel like we've had this number a bunch lately, and it's just not a good number. The dearly departed Cameron Johnston, I suppose now qualifies. But number 5,
we're going with Brucey, Bruce Gradkowski.
There you go. That's certainly a quality one. Not a great number in terms of the team's history.
No, absolutely not. I don't know that I can think. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey right now, but
Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs is the other one that comes.
Backup quarterback is probably where you got to look at, right? I mean,
I believe, Terry Hanratty back in the early 70s was 5. And I think there's probably a couple kickers in there too, but Barr was 9. Craig Colquitt, maybe.
Okay. All right. You know what I'm looking forward to? So Joe that sent this email to you, by the way, came on board with SN Plus in February of 2025. So just earlier this year, 7 months ago. And that's when he really said he started to learn about all this nuanced stuff. I can't wait till the day that we get a message that he's hired as like in an analytics department somewhere in the NFL. Like,
I think Joe's happily retired, but we'll see. We'll see where his knowledge.
He did mention being retired in there, which means he just has
maybe he's just gonna win his fantasy football league thanks to everything that he learned from his buddies at Steelers.
You know, that's much less of a leap than I just took, and probably a lot more realistic. So, but good stuff.
I'm here to keep us grounded, Smitty. That is primarily my responsibility.
Yep, on and off the field. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, as Alan said. Hit us in the comments your thoughts, anything that we talked about today. Question for a future episode: How pumped up you are about the new content coming to the YouTube channel? And then leave us a 5-star review and subscribe if you're listening somewhere else, Apple, Spotify, wherever your podcast from. We are there. Just search Steelers Afternoon Drive. Do the same thing on TikTok. You'll find me everywhere. Zachary Smith, PGH, for Jobe Morrison, Alan Saunders, and myself. Thanks for jumping in. Take another ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive.